The following program is brought to you by Arlington Community Media, where we tell your story.
This is ACMi News, recognized nationwide as the first place winner of the 2023 Hometown Media Award for News Access.
Yes or no? Arlington residents go to the polls to decide whether they want to spend more money for the town and public schools and tax exemptions for seniors. How you can prepare for the vote in this year's special town election. Next, an exclusive interview with an art student, but not just any art student. This man was taught by none other than Arlington's own world-renowned sculptor Cyrus Dallin, and you will meet him next. And we were working in the lab late one night, and well, things quickly got out of hand at ACMi Studio A. Hundreds of ghouls, goblins, witches, and Lord knows what descended on ACMi for some sweet treats to eat. And yes, they were altogether ooky. ACMi News is next.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered, giving you stories that count from people who care. Reliable, trustworthy, dependable. This is the nationwide award-winning ACMi News.
It's been a very busy fall season for town business right here in Arlington. Obviously, the special town meeting concerning zoning bylaws just wrapped up last week. Now comes the special town election, set for this Tuesday, November the 7th. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of ACMi News. I'm Jeff Barn, coming to you from the beautiful Arlington Heights, leaves strewn all over the ground. It's a beautiful day out here, and we're not going to have too many more of them. Glad you could join us. It's pretty simple this year for voters. Just two yes-no questions are on the ballot. Question 1 concerns an additional $7 million in taxes to fund the operating budgets of the town and public schools. Question 2 asks if the town should establish a senior citizen property tax exemption. The deadline to register to vote was October the 28th at 5 p.m. For more information on this special election and how you can prepare to take part, all you have to do is go to the town website, arlingtonma.gov. Again, that's arlingtonma.gov. In mid-October, the Arlington Police Department earned reaccreditation from the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission. Arlington's police department became a certified agency, you may recall, 15 years ago, then gained full accreditation status in 2014. Now, what really does all this mean? Accreditation is a lengthy evaluation process. Departments taking part complete an internal self-review and an external assessment by MPAC experts. And in many ways, it's considered the best measure for a police department to compare itself against the established best practices around the nation. The town manager congratulated the department for this recent achievement.
Even I myself didn't know until this time around just how cumbersome of a process this is. And frankly, obviously, the Arlington Police Department has been a fully accredited agency since 2014. And this most recent reaccreditation will carry us through the next 3 years. But as you alluded to, this is a very time-intensive and labor-intensive process. There is a significant amount of paperwork and review involved. And the remarkable part about this is it's voluntary. You know, we actively and proactively pursue undertaking this process so that we're sort of putting the Arlington Police Department up against what are the best practices and established standards for police departments, not only locally and regionally, but around the country. So it is, you know, great work and a great undertaking that shows not only a high level of commitment to the community, but a commitment to being, you know, among the best in the profession of policing. Also, there are a few individuals directly involved that, if I could, I'd like to say, you know, thanks obviously to Chief Flaherty for her leadership and continuing on with this practice, but also to Captain Brendan Kiernan, Lieutenant Mike Flynn, and Sergeant Jim Kiernan for their work shepherding the department through this process and having all our policies and procedures evaluated, questioned, updated. You know, it is quite intensive, and you're really putting yourself out there, so kudos to them.
Town leaders have announced Colleen Legere has taken over the helm of the town's Health and Human Services Department. The HHS director oversees several human services, including, obviously, the health department, Council on Aging, and also diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, town manager James Feeney says he's confident Ms. Legere will continue her excellent service to the town of Arlington. Prior to accepting her new role, Legere was the director of AYCC for the past 10 years. In her tenure there, she developed policies for the delivery and evaluation of mental health services. Legere holds a Bachelor of Arts, English, and a Master's of Public Health from Boston University. Ms. Legere began her new job on Tuesday, October the 10th. Arlington's Chamber of Commerce knocked it out of the park once again. Children ages 10 and younger were invited to show off their Halloween costumes and trick or treat at participating Arlington businesses from 3 to 5 on Friday, October the 27th. We're talking businesses from East Arlington to Arlington Center to Arlington Heights. And of course, ACMi had to take part in this sweet and scary event. Check it out.
As All Hallows Eve crept ever closer to the bewitching hour, the normal atmosphere of Arlington's TV outlet became possessed with otherworldly frights and haunts, much to the delight of hundreds of trick-or-treaters who came through our doors in search of a sugar fix.
Why is this day so special to Laura?
I get free candy.
And what is your favorite candy?
Nerds.
A salad with kale or nerds? What's your favorite?
Nerds.
Over kale?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why don't you like kale?
It's disgusting.
This townwide Halloween event comes courtesy of Arlington's Chamber of Commerce. More than 50 businesses from the Heights, Arlington Center, and East Arlington are taking part, including us. And, not to brag or anything, but out of the 50, we're the only ones with a TV studio, also complete with dancing skeletons, talking pumpkins, and an assortment of candy to satisfy even the sweetest of spooky people who like sugar.
That you get to get a lot of candy and you just get to see a lot of cool stuff.
All right, now there's a whole bunch of candy in these bowls and it's all different. What is your favorite candy?
Dots.
It's what?
Dots.
Why do you like them so much?
Because they're so colorful and yummy.
And whosoever shall be found without the soul for getting down must stand and face the bowl of sweets, M&Ms, Tootsie Rolls, and other such treats.
This is the best, has been for the last couple of years that we've come by, and we are so grateful for ACMi for presenting everything and having these kids come in. It's been the best time.
What is the highlight of this event? There are 50 businesses, but what's the highlight for you?
This, ACMi, without a doubt, the best.
Pretty much what I wanted to hear,
That's
Lori.
exactly it.
Happy Halloween!
So they purloined the candy and went on their way because Halloween was a mere 5 days away. One by one, they made their selection as they scampered away with their newfound confection. Okay, enough of the theremin, okay? Enough. Deep six it. Thank you. Whew.
This week it was time for the coveted Arlington International Film Festival, which took place November 2nd through the 5th at the Capitol Theater along Mass Ave. This was the chance for so many film directors, producers, and actors to feature films that have a profound impact on all of us worldwide, films from all over the world. One film that debuted at the venue in Lexington on October the 16th, The Lock Shop, takes a nostalgic look back at an era that is clearly fading and has been for quite some time now. It's about a family-owned lock shop in Southie. Its owners hanging on to their life's work in the shadow of the huge box stores and online retailers taking over seemingly the world.
I think to be a locksmith, you mostly have to be mechanically inclined. And not a good cook like me. I'm definitely not a good cook.
I was making a film in South Boston, and I came across Patty's Lock Shop. I walked by it and just thought, that seems so old South Boston. I really want to know who's in there. And I went to talk to Patty, and I really liked her right away.
I was eventually going to be a hairdresser, but I got laid off from my trucking job on April 1st, 1980, when my father was retiring. I'm going to give the business to my two brothers. My family business was started in 1922 by my grandfather. My family was from northern Italy. Well, one of the things is my lock shop has been there over 100 years, so it's like an old business in South Boston, and little by little businesses have disappeared. You know, along came the malls, and everybody buys stuff online. So.
Home Depot and Lowe's and online and Amazon.
Yeah, one of the things I have going for me is that we have an old shop, so I'm very good at, old doors, like on Mass Ave and, down in the South End. You're not going to buy something that's going to go on like a 2.5-inch door from the turn of the century. Luigi. So Luigi goes out front, and he opens up the safe, and he takes his treats out, and then he'll look at the customer and say, please give me some treats. And then after the customer leaves, we put the treats back in the safe, and he does it all over again for the next customer. And that's how Luigi rolls. Why, he's 17 pounds.
Patty knows the entire neighborhood. She knows who the people are. She knows their family. She goes to births and funerals and wakes, and she's part of the community, and that makes a big difference in knowing how to take care of the people who come in.
So, what do you think's ahead for you?
100 years, and that's it. We'll call it a day.
How are you feeling about that?
What are you gonna do? All good things must come to an end.
The Arlington International Film Festival also featured the Voices of Our Youth program. The AIFF partnered with the Student Film Festival of Uruguay, known as Fenicias. These international relationships offer opportunities to students through the art of filmmaking to share experiences and ideas that will hopefully encourage understanding and appreciation among all of our cultures. Now, this week I had the chance to talk to George Kinsella, the producer of Fenicias, who traveled from Montevideo to Arlington to talk about the importance of young student filmmaking.
It's an honor to be here in Massachusetts and promoting our film festival with the Arlington International Film Festival in alliances.
Yeah, now tell us about this. It's now I'm going to pronounce it, and I know I'm going to be wrong. I look at it as Fenicias, so tell us about it.
Yes, Fenicias is the student film festival from Uruguay, and it's focused on students from the primary, elementary school, middle and high school, and as well university, and also amateurs can show and present their short films during our weekends. This in September, the first week, and we finally we end the 13th edition as Alberto's Arlington International Film Festival.
Now, I saw a trailer to one of the films, and it was really, really interesting. Something I never even heard about coming from North America, the Silicon Valley of South America. Tell us about this, because it's absolutely beautiful, and it's very, obviously very developed, and it's cutting edge.
Yes, Punta del Este is a beautiful seaside resort, and there is now is getting like the Silicon Valley of the South America, because all the innovation projects some places that are, well, there will be built a World Trade Center, a place to shoot movies, like for, studios and so on. And there are a lot of projects that are amazing, and all of them are involved with technology in some way.
But why is it so important to be part of a youth program that encourages films from all over the world so that everybody can pretty much learn about everyone else's culture? I think everybody benefits when that happens.
Exactly, and that is for peace. That is what would really do this. The world is in several wars, and if we see and we show short films from all over the world, and we really express several cultures in the big screen in film, that it's really good, so people can understand more and be empathic with other cultures and with other people. And that is fantastic. Only the film, only the cinema can give us that opportunity that is so important for peace.
And we need it now more than ever. I don't have to tell you that. Now, what got you involved in filmmaking and really good storytelling?
To spread the message. That is what I really want. What I really want, and we want with my business partner, the director of the film festival, is to express something, to say something that is really important for not just us, for other peoples too. The environment, the future, the collaborative stuff, like being in touch and being not as discriminatory, but being understand the others' lives, they understand what happens to them. And if you spread the message through the film, that will be absolutely overwhelming.
If you missed this year's AIFF, you can get all the information you need to know about the films that were shown in this year's event, the 13th annual event. Just go to the website, AIFFest.org. Again, that's AIFFest.org. And once again, this year's festival was a huge success. ACMi is currently joining the Cyrus Dallin Art Museum to piece together a major project which focuses on one of Arlington's favorite sons who lived right up that street, the world-renowned sculptor Cyrus E. Dallin. Now, ACMi has just wrapped up producing a massive oral histories program, area residents reading first-hand accounts of people who came in contact with this master artist and have a fascinating story to tell us all. This week, that's a little bit different. The museum's co-founder traveled to Martha's Vineyard nearly 20 years ago in search of one of Cyrus Dallin's art students. Now, the video was shelved for 19 years until just this year. It was brought back to life.
I went to the Lawrence Public Schools for elementary and for high school, and I was accepted at the Massachusetts College of Art. I started in the fall of 1934, and I graduated in the spring of 1938. There was a modeling department there, and there was a Mr. Raymond Porter, who was the chair of that particular department, and Cyrus Dallin worked along with him. We were exposed to all the different forms of art, modeling being one, and Cyrus Dallin was my teacher for that particular course. Mr. Dallin, at various lessons, would just have us do several little things that we would model, and to climax the course, we all made a mask, and we had a choice of doing what we wanted to. And I chose to do a stylized rabbit. And I can remember Cyrus Dallin coming up to me and saying, "Get some more clay on there. You don't have enough clay." And then finally I would get more clay on and he would punch it a little bit and say, "See what I mean? You got to get it up there." And I had it around the house for a long, long while, and finally it gave up the ghost. But the interesting thing about Cyrus Dallin at that particular time, he always looked like an artist. We had a lot of other teachers in the school, but Cyrus was the one that had the goatee, the beret, the smock. He was about 75 years old when I was there. Everyone knew who he was because of the appeal to the Great Spirit in front of the museum. And we were all in awe of him. But he would come up to us sometimes and he'd call us, "Now child, do this." Or, "Boy, I want you to do this."
Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.
He never knew me by name. I was just a young person who was, trying to learn a few things about modeling. I found him to be very, very gentle and concerned, wanting you to get off on the right foot and to enjoy what you were doing. I have the yearbooks for the 4 years I was there. It's amazing. In all the 4 years, they say about the same thing about Cyrus. Cyrus the Great. We are proud to claim him as one of us. It said, distinguished gentleman, nationally known, calls everyone child in a fatherly fashion as he shapes the student's lump of clay into a real nose, is one of the artists to have studied under when we are trying to make an impression. This autumn, Cyrus E. Dallin completed his Paul Revere. He has turned again to his original design and has completed a powerful equestrian. Our modeling class was fortunate enough to see it in clay at his studio. Cyrus the Great, whose glorious ability gave us much famous Indian sculpture, and the recently unveiled statue of Paul Revere guides our unaccustomed fingers in making the clay round and building it up. My wife always tells me that every time we go by the appeal to the Great Spirit, I used to say so often, my teacher did that. Now when my children go by the statue, they say, my father's teacher did that.
Few museums in the world are located in the town where the artist actually lived and worked. We are among the select few. For more on the life and times of Cyrus Edwin Dallin, all you have to do is go to the website of the Dallin Art Museum. That's dallin.org. Again, that website is dallin.org. Once again, the head of the Charles Regatta was a major success. More than 11,000 rowers from nearly 30 countries came to Boston to compete on the Charles River in the third week of October. This year, for the first time, the Ukrainian national team had a boat. All the rowers and coaches were obviously displaced because of the Russian invasion of their homeland nearly 2 years ago. That's hard to believe. The Ukrainian rowers were training in Bulgaria for their own safety before coming stateside. And before the regatta, this team visited our Studio A right here in Arlington to tell us all about the reception they received coming to America to represent the proud blue and yellow flag of their country.
It was first time when we come to such competition, because it's like so celebration competition. So we were really happy, and it was great for us to compete for first time. It's a great experience. Another country, another people meet each other, speak. Everybody so добрый,
so kind,
kind, and we shocked that everyone who saw that we in Ukrainian wearing, they поливали. Support us, support, and be happy to see us. And we were happy too.
These ambassadors of Ukraine came in third place in the women's championship fours. But for what this team endured, they'll always win the gold medal. To see this fascinating half-hour program in its entirety, produced by ACMi, just go to our webpage, acmi.tv. Again, that's acmi.tv. Well, as I said before, the weather is getting crisper. Yeah, we had a few unseasonably warm days recently, but this is New England, and soon the weather will be having an impact on all of the sports activity going on in the near future. It's playoff season now. Let's go to ACMi News sports producer Nick Antonakis with the very latest. Take it away, Nick.
It's playoff season in Arlington as the fall regular season comes to the end. The Spy Ponders still have plenty of action set up ahead for them. Let's start off with a team that has a chance to host their first round playoff matchup here at Pierce Field, that being the girls varsity soccer squad. They enter the playoffs with a 12-5-1 record on the regular season, and despite enduring a few pivotal injuries at the end of their season, they enter with high hopes to make a long playoff run. Now, flipping the script from a team that has been so dominant in entering the playoffs to a team that has kind of stumbled into this time of the year, that team being the varsity football team. After a promising win against the Belmont Marauders just a few weeks ago to improve their record to 3-3 on the season, they dropped their last two games of the year to fall to 3-5 on the regular season. Because of that, they'll be on the road on Friday, November 3rd for their opening playoff matchup against Peabody High School. Now, Peabody is a powerhouse in the high school football scene, entering their playoff matchup with an 8-0 record, and they look to keep their winning ways going against Arlington. Now, the Spy Ponders have been in places so far this year with the odds stacked against them. That'll certainly be the case on November 3rd as they look to get the win over the oh-so-dominant Peabody High School. Regardless, everybody here at ACMi Sports wants to wish the best of luck to all of our Spy Ponders competing in the playoffs. From ACMi News, I'm Nick Antonakis.
Thank you as always, Nick. That's going to do it for this week's edition of ACMi News. I'm Jeff Barn. Thank you as always for joining us each and every week here. Do you want to see how we put together the newscast here in Arlington? We do it right there in that building. Stop by and pay us a visit on 85 Park Ave on Thursday afternoons between 3 and 5 p.m. And if you have any news tips for us, stay tuned. In just a few seconds, don't move yet. You're going to find out how. And we will see you back here next week. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you very soon.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.